Jon Jones versus Iron Mike Tyson. Before I get into that video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you like this video. Hit the thumbs down if you dislike the video. What do you mean? Dana White pays them more than enough. If that's how you feel, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And if you really like this video, go ahead and sub to the channel because that is what helps me out the most. Before I get into this video, I also want to say I will not be going live today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I understand I said I was, but I had forgot it was Father's Day. So because of Father's Day, I will not be going live. To all the fathers out there, happy Father's Days. To all the mothers out there who are acting like fathers because the dad isn't in their kid's life, happy Father's Day to all you moms holding it down as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So, Jon Jones, what pretty much Jones saw was Mike Tyson gave an interview. And in the interview, he said the UFC guys don't make money. Jon Jones would have to fight him to make any type of real money. Look at Conor McGregor. He had to fight Mayweather to make $100 million. He said Conor could fight Jon Jones and they wouldn't make nearly that much money. And it's true. They don't get paid like boxers. And I don't think Mike Tyson was actually throwing a challenge out there to Jon Jones. He was just speaking hypothetically. If Jon Jones was to fight him, it would be the most money that Jon Jones ever made. And he's 53 years old. So that tells you how much more boxers get paid. So I agree with Tyson. I've said it for a long time that these UFC fighters do not get paid what they're justly deserved. The only good thing I can say about UFC's payment scale is the lower end fighters probably make more than the lower end boxers. Because in boxing, you get paid as low as $500, $1,000. Whenever you're just coming up, you're not getting paid anything. You need another full-time job to even box. So that's the only place that I see UFC fighters have the advantages on the lower end. But when you get to mid-range to high-end paid fighters, they don't compete. A B-level fighter gets paid more than UFC fighters. And it's crazy because some of these UFC fighters do more pay-per-view numbers than some world champion boxers. But they don't even make a tenth. I don't even know if they make a percent, a single percent of what these boxers make. Think about Jon Jones. Probably one of the best ever, and I know Dana White was on record talking about, well, he doesn't bring in that bullshit. I guarantee you Jon Jones brings in that much money. He sells out arenas, and he sells hella pay-per-views. You can't tell me he's not on that level to compete. So get the fuck out of here with that. Now, what I will say is this. Jon Jones was like, I'm listening. Then he said, Tyson, I'll do a boxing match with you, and then I'll challenge you in the octagon. Don't worry, I won't break you. It's pretty much summing up what he said. And what I don't like about that is this. One, Tyson wasn't being serious about fighting you. It's cool if you're entertaining it. It's cool if you want to box him. But what I don't like it was kind of like a underhand shade being thrown at Tyson. How are you going to tell a man who is considered in his prime, probably the greatest, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, by far the most feared heavyweight of all time, but you're going to tell him that you respect him so much you promise not to break him? That's disrespectful in itself, because pretty much what you're saying is you could body him with ease and you're going to take it easy like he's a fucking kid. See, I don't like that. I don't know if Jon Jones meant for it to come out like that, but the fighter in me, the warrior spirit in me, that's how I read that. I don't like that. I don't like how it comes off. You telling him you're going to take it easy. Like, nah, man, this the heart of a lion. Even at 53 years old, he still got the itch to want to come back because that soul of a fighter never dies. And anybody who's ever been a fighter, anybody who's ever had that spirit, whether it's amateurs, professionals, or you just known in your hood to be somebody in the streets knocking heads off like a Kimbo Slice, you always had that fire inside of you. And for whatever reason, whether it be you go to work, whatever it is, you don't do it. But that doesn't mean the fire doesn't die. That doesn't mean that when confrontation comes head on to you, you're going to back away from it. You're going to smile at it and walk towards it because it's just in you. A fighter is born, he is not made. And that's why you see so many good fighters look like they lose heart, it's because they were never a fighter from the beginning. If you see a guy getting beat up and he just gives up, he's not a real fighter. I'm going to call out Rigondeaux. When Rigondeaux sat down against Lomachenko, that's not a real fighter. I don't care how many people he beat. The first time that he was losing really badly, he gave up because he didn't have that fighting spirit. A real fighter, and I'm going to give credit to Deontay Wilder, even though he's been flamed a lot. A real fighter wants to go out, wants to die. It sounds crazy, I know, but if you're not a real fighter, you don't understand it. Nobody wants to just give up if that's in you. A real fighter is born and will never give up, will get their dying breath, no matter how dumb, how foolish it sounds, will get their dying breath not to lose. Period. So that's why I don't like that comment that Jon Jones made. It's kind of an underhanded shit talk, in my opinion. And I don't think it's intentional. So I don't want to say it's intentional that it's out there. But as far as Mike Tyson versus Jon Jones goes, I really don't see this happening. If it did happen, it would probably be like an exhibition in a boxing ring. And even an exhibition between these two titans in a boxing ring would sell out. It would do millions. I could see Jon Jones making anywhere from $5 to $10 million doing this, and Tyson probably making around $10 to $15 million if there was the box and an exhibition match. It doesn't even have to be a real match. They could even have on headgear. People are going to pay just because it's Tyson. If you get somebody like Jon Jones, who is arguably the best UFC fighter of all time, come on now. You know this is going to sell. And I think Jon Jones can get out of his contract if I've read everything correctly and seen what's in the news. So, I mean, I'm all down for them doing an exhibition boxing match. Jon Jones, he could beat Tyson. It's possible. It's very possible because he's got a lot of fighting experience. He's not the best boxer in the world. He won't be able to use all his strengths, which is his wrestling and his legs. But in a boxing ring, you have Tyson, who's 53, who is an elite fighter. And I really think the inexperience in boxing that Jon Jones has versus the age factor of Tyson pretty makes it an even match. Believe it or not, I would have it even going in. I don't know who would win. You know, a smart man would say Tyson, but the other side of me says, well, what happens if Jon Jones rocks Tyson at 53 years old? Can he even recover from a punch? I don't know. So I think this would make for a better match than Tyson versus Holyfield 3. Whenever I was watching Holyfield, he looked like he was running in slow-mo. Like, he's past it. He can't do it. He's too slow. Tyson's moving too fast, too fluid still. He would destroy Holyfield. I think Holyfield's like 58 years old or something. He's much older than Tyson anyways. So I think realistically, you take a guy who's a titan. I mean, the name alone, Jon Jones versus Mike Tyson, them names alone right there stop the fucking world. Stop Corona dead in its tracks. Nobody will have Corona on that day. That will be the antidote. That will be the antibody. All eyes will forget about everything and just be watching Tyson versus Jon Jones boxing exhibition. As far as now UFC goes and MMA, I don't think that should be a part of it. Tyson didn't do it. He didn't train for it. And at this point, at 53 years old, he's way too old to even get in shape and train for that type of wrestling. But a boxing match I would entertain. I think it's great for Jon Jones. It would give him more money than he's ever made. And I think it's great for Tyson because if Tyson really wanted to make a run back at boxing, even if it's on a low level, you take a guy like Jon Jones, who is a world champion, who is a game fighter, who's going to be there to win, but he has no boxing experience on that type of level. And it's pretty much a tune-up fight, believe it or not. And for Jon Jones, you could say the same thing. He's got an elite boxer who hasn't boxed in like 13, 14 years now. And, you know, he's an older man. So for Jon Jones, it could be a tune-up fight to get into boxing because I can tell you this right now. Even at 53 years old, I believe Tyson will have the best body movement Jon Jones would ever see in boxing. That bobbing and weaving will be unmatched. Even at 53 years old, you could tell he has not missed a beat with the side-to-side movement. And him coming forward, even in this picture right here, I have in the tile set up in the background, he out-slapboxed Jon Jones by slipping him. That's something that Jon Jones has never experienced, never seen. So for both men, you can make an argument that this is a tune-up match. And because it's a tune-up match for both men, it makes for a great and exciting fight. I don't think it should be a full-on boxing match. I think it should be an exhibition, maybe 5 to 6 rounds max. I wouldn't want to see more than that. And I think that's good for both guys. Endurance-wise, you're not going to push Tyson so far out that he's too exhausted. And Jon Jones, same thing. He's not going to get too exhausted from boxing too many rounds. See, the thing about boxing and MMA is it's a different type of endurance. So just because you can wrestle for 5 minutes a round doesn't mean you can last 3 minutes a round in boxing. And just because you can last, say, 12 3-minute rounds in boxing doesn't mean you could go 5 5-minute rounds in UFC. It's different. It's a different type of workout. And until you get used to that type of pace, that type of movement, you won't be able to last all the rounds. So I think a good mid-round fight exhibition, like I said, I think they should wear headgear, being that Jon Jones has never boxed on a professional level and being that Tyson is older. I think headgear is good. Maybe you put them in a little bit bigger gloves. I wouldn't say 16 ounces, but I would say 14 ounces for both men. That way, you know, you don't have to risk Jon Jones getting caught and knocked out in one punch, because if that happens, you know, there's going to be a lot of doubt thrown on UFC and how legit their fighters are. And then at the same time, with Jon Jones having 14-ounce gloves on, you don't have to worry about him causing too much damage in one punch to an older fighter like Tyson. So it's a good all-around fight. So if you've made it to the end of the video, my suggestion for this is 5 to 6 round exhibition, headgear. I think the world stops. I think this generates who knows how much money. Hell, you wouldn't even need an undercard. All you would need is this one fight and people would pay pay-per-view for it. Like, the world would stop. This could really be spun to be bigger than the Manny Mayweather, in my opinion. I know I'd pay for it. If they said $120, I'd pay $120 to see Jon Jones versus Mike Tyson. I don't care. And I'm not suggesting that because I don't like them super high pay-per-views, especially for people who are hurting for money. But I'm just saying, me personally, to see these two go out in a real fight, even if it is an exhibition, I'd pay a whole lot of money to see it because it would be very interesting how it plays out. So I'm going to end it on that. Again, thank y'all for watching. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you disliked it and you're a fan of Dana's bald-headed ass, give it a thumbs down. If you really liked it, go ahead and sub. Like I said earlier, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that way you can get a reminder every time I drop brand new content like this. And again, I'm sorry, y'all. I will not be going live today at 2 p.m. That's why I wanted to push this video out. Thank y'all again for watching.